Good Doug. Welcome back to CFC-TV. Before I'm gonna start with the review of today's match, I wanna just throw a big shout out to Chelsea SW6 because I was on their stream last night and I highly enjoyed it. And if you haven't already, go and subscribe to them. I'll put a link in the description down below. And yeah, they're doing quality content. They're really good at what they do. A lot of effort, a lot of time going in there as well. And yeah, just show them some love, appreciate what they do. And yeah, I'm gonna kick on with my review now. Of course, the game finished 0-0 between Manchester United and Chelsea at Old Trafford today. I'm gonna start with the lineup as usual. There were quite a few changes in there. It was obviously still Courtois in goal. Ivanovic is right back. Kurt Zouma was back in the side for Gary Cahill, with partnered by John Terry. Aspilicueta was still at left back. The holding midfield was Nemanja Matic and Genovi Mikau. The three behind the striker, or behind the false nine today, were Pedro, Oscar and Willian, and Hazard played up front today. And I'll just run you through our bench as well. It was Baba, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Ramirez, Gilo Budgie, Kennedy, Traore and Begovic. So we had quite a few injuries today. Remy didn't pass a late fitness test today. Falcao is still not ready to play. Fabregas has fever, like he's sort of just ill. Cahill picked up some sort of injury, I think with his foot, is what Hiddink said before the game. And yeah, so our options were obviously a little bit limited, which is why we went for the false nine, because we didn't have a striker available, because obviously Diego Costa was suspended, as I told you in the review of the last game. So, I mean, I'm not 100% sure if Remy would have started if he was fit, but I'm pretty sure he would have. So, to run you through the game, it started off with a few bangs basically. Like after 2 or 3 minutes, Mata hit the crossbar with a beautiful shot. A bit lucky on that one. And just a few minutes later, after a corner, De Gea pulled off a great save from a John Terry header. Great reaction save, great reflex by him. And then, you know, the game sort of dribbled away a little bit. You know, there was nothing big going on, but after, I can't remember what it was, still in the first half, Martial hit the post, and we were a bit lucky on that one. And in the second half, Pedro had a good chance, like after 2 or 3 minutes of the second half. Hazard played a decent ball to him. Pedro had a shot inside the box, but De Gea had a good save. You know what I mean? Pedro could have done a little bit better and put it like further to the post and not that central. It wasn't like directly at De Gea, but you know, it was reachable for him and he could have sort of had a better strike. But then, you know, it had a few. Yeah, then Courtois had a huge save. It was a cross by I think Martial, who went past Ivanovic again, but I'm going to talk about that later. And Herrera just basically had to tap it in. I think John Terry sort of had a foot in as well, but Courtois was one of the best saves ever. Like he didn't like save with his hands, but he got his chest in the way. It was a great reflex by him. Great movement by a goalkeeper as well. And then the biggest chance of the game probably was well played counter attack. And Matic was 1-on-1 with De Gea. And I can't really remember, but I think he took the shot outside the box or just inside the box, and he didn't just miss, he put it wide and over the bar basically. So that was one of the most appalling shots I've ever seen. You know, if you think about it, probably learned from Torres or something to miss something like that at Old Trafford. I mean, it wasn't as bad as Torres missed, but you know, it was still quite bad, because that probably would have won us the game. And yeah, overall, I mean, let me just check on the stats. Yeah, so Man United had 67% of possession. I mean, we both had 3 shots on goal, but you know, the bar and the posts don't count as shots on goal, which I don't really understand, because you know, but so basically, you know, I had a good few more chances than we did. It was a poor game overall. It was exciting to watch, I felt like, because it was so tense that any team could score. and you know, destroy the others, because both teams are in a bad moment at the time, basically. But United were a better team, clearly. Ivanovic, well, I can't even think about what he's done today. Like, I think he won about 1 or 2 like battles against Martial, but out of 15 times he basically got done. You know, it's really difficult. It's difficult to talk about, because obviously we played with a false 9, but we basically set it up just like Jose was in charge, going there for a draw, because we didn't even properly try to attack, except on a few counter attacks. We didn't even try, and that was really annoying. I'm gonna talk about the players individually. Courtois, as I said, that amazing save, and another 2 good saves. And then Ivanovic, as I just mentioned, he was dreadful. I mean, he wasn't as bad as he was before his injury, I felt like, but he got done by Martial so many times. Willian had to track back so much. Jonathan Mikello to help him out so much. Zuma had to help him out so much. It was incredible. Zuma had a great game. There was one tackle where he actually won a sprinting battle with Martial. He was just he started like a yard or 2 behind Martial, and after, I don't know, probably 20 yards of sprinting, he was close enough to get one of the best tackles I've ever seen in, which was incredible. John Terry had a very good game, a few good tackles, good blocks, you know, good positioning, good headers, you know what he does. Azpilicueta had his problems with Mata and Young, who played right back, but overall I think he was decent. He had one sort of chance going forward. We had a counter attack, but Young just sort of slid in the perfect moment to get the ball off him, or just before Aspi could control the ball after a Hazard pass, I think. Can't remember. Then Matic, obviously, he missed his sitter, but otherwise I felt he wasn't that bad. I mean, he wasn't good, but he wasn't that bad. Jonathan Mikel, he was good defensively, as always, but going forward he had a few misplaced passes, a few stupid passes. But what he did well, he held the ball up great. Like, even when he was taking a few steps forward, or running with the ball forward, he was just, pushing players away and, keeping the ball, which was really good to see. Pedro was decent. He didn't do a huge amount. As I said, he had that one chance, but he was okay. No, let's say he was good, compared to the rest of the team. And Oscar, he was absolutely shit. I mean, he was just so bad. It was unbelievable. Like, he looked so lazy. I mean, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have played if Costa was available or Remy was fit, because I don't know. Already against Watford, I felt he was dreadful. Not just missing his penalty, but the whole game. Today he was just misplaced passes, stupid flicks, always the wrong decision, passing it to the wrong man. If he had 2 opportunities, like left or right, he always passed it to the wrong man. Like, once he had, it was a long ball. I can't remember by who, but it was a long ball, and he was just inside the box, but on the side, not out, in front of the goal, but on the side of the goal. And I realized that he was the only one forward, but he sort of had a shot, and it sort of went over the touchline, over the goal line, before the 6-yard box, so it didn't even hit the side netting. Instead, Pedro or Hazard, one of them two, was trying to follow it, so basically be available, and he could have just turned around, waited, and tried to find the cross or the pass. But no, he had a shot, the most stupid shot I've ever seen. Why would you even try to take a shot there? Willian probably had his worst game of the season for us. He was still not terrible. He did a few things, but he had a few bad first touches, miscontrolling the ball. His free kicks were not good at all today. His corners were still good. I mean, how many did we have? Only 3, so can't really shine out that much. But as I said before, we almost scored from a corner, John Terry's header in the 5th minute or something. I mean, he got tackled pretty badly by Schneiderlin. He got his studs basically up his thigh and bum, basically. which I suppose hurt. But he got brought off for Ramirez after, wait, let me just check quickly. He got brought off after 70 minutes. So, you know, it was probably his worst game, but he was still not even close to as bad as Ivanovic and Oscar. And Hazard was fairly good. He took on players. He set up the chance by Pedro really nicely. He was trying, even when he was clearly absolutely knackered, he was still running his ass off, which I really liked. Like, I was like, well, Hazard completely tired. He was just like slowly walking around the pitch. But when he saw that, I'm not sure if it was Aspilicueta or Matic were in trouble with Young coming to help Mata on their right wing, and suddenly he just pulled off one like really fast sprint just to get back and help them. He actually got the ball, had a 1-2 with Pedro, and sort of tried to get past Smalling, passed it to Oscar, who basically stopped the chance again and passed it back to Mikel, and then we gave it back to Courtois. And who came on? Ramirez. He didn't really do much. He had a few misplaced, like, bad first touches, which maybe could have led to something more. And Ruben Loftus-Cheek came on in extra time or in injury time. You know, I mean, he came on, but you know, nothing. No, he didn't really do anything. I'm not sure if he touched the ball. I think he got a header in a late free kick, but you know, a thing that really annoyed me today was that we were playing, obviously, as I said, without a striker. But we always played long balls. Like, we always gave it back to Courtois, and we always played long balls up to Hazard. Like, how, and always, like, you know, the centre back partnership was Smalling and Blind, and they were always like on Smalling's side of the defense. So Hazard had even less chance of winning the ball, and obviously, like we usually do, where Ivanovic like goes up top when we have a goal kick, and he tries to win the header. But Courtois' kickoffs were just bad today. Sometimes they flew over Ivanovic or didn't reach him, which was very annoying. But not just from the goalkeeper. Like, always we tried to hit it long. Nobody was ever getting there, and we were never doing anything with it, which was really, really annoying to me. But yeah, I mean, overall, Man United probably deserved to win just because they had so much more of their possession and a few more chances. But, you know, we had big chances as well. The John Terry header, which I'm not blaming him for. It was just a great save by De Gea. It was still a great chance. Then obviously the Pedro but the save by De Gea from the Pedro shot, and then the poorly miss by Matic. You know, I mean, sometimes Man United could still miss their chances and put the ball on the bar and the post, but we could still take ours and take a 1 or 2-0 win. But now obviously both teams had to fuck it up, which was a bit annoying. What I want to, you know, point out is that the Chelsea fans were incredible. Like, most of the game, when I was watching on TV, I only heard Chelsea fans. It was incredible. So fair play to them. Like, the trip up to Manchester isn't short. So yeah, fair play to them. What I didn't like about Hiddink, like he did it in the last game already. We played 2 games in 48 hours, and he only made 4 substitutions. Like, what? Like, it's already tiring enough to play 48 hours, like 2 games in 48 hours. But then only to make 2 substitutions each game is stupid. And one of them was like after 92 minutes today, so basically no rest for Oscar came off then. And no chance for Ruben Loftus-Cheek to prove himself. I mean, I suppose obviously we didn't have the greatest bench today, but still, he could have tried Kennedy in the last 15 minutes, where clearly Pedro and Hazard were very tired, and should have taken off Oscar way before because it was just so bad. I mean, I suppose I do understand why he brought off Willian for Ramirez. Not that he brought off Willian in particular, but I think he was still feeling, you know, the tackle that he got from Schneiderlin. But Ramirez sort of helped out Ivanovic, who had a few problems in defence, so that was probably the reason why Ramirez came on. But still, I would have brought on Kennedy and Ruben Loftus-Cheek a bit earlier, like probably replaced Oscar with Ruben Loftus-Cheek just to give us that bit more strength, because Oscar was falling over all the time and never got the free kick. Like, he was falling over so many times. I mean, sometimes I have to give it to him, sometimes maybe it was a foul, but most of the time it wasn't. He was just falling over, which was really annoying. And probably would have taken off Pedro or Hazard, one of the two. Probably Pedro, because he played the 90 minutes against Watford as well, for Kennedy, just to try something. Like, changing it up top wouldn't have changed the way we defended. So, because you know, Kennedy, you know, we played him left back before, so he's not going to be worse than Pedro defensively. So yeah, that's basically all I have to say. We're obviously playing on the 2nd of January, I think, away at Crystal Palace. So yeah, just as I said before, check out the link in the description to SW6, Chelsea SW6. As I said, a great channel. Subscribe to them, show them some love, watch their videos, and yeah, that was basically it from me. Hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, please subscribe to me, and leave anything you have to add in the comments. Leave it a like rating, and keep the blue flag flying high, and see you next time.